Clerk, I note the presence of a quorum. Do you concur?
I confirm the presence of a quorum.
Okay, and we have the minutes circulated from the previous meeting. Is there a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, and we have an agenda before us. Are there any changes to the agenda anyone wishes to make? Okay. So the first part of our agenda will go to public comment. Is there, we have someone here, Bill Parrish, Bill's here, scheduled to do his presentation again. Well, actually, we're actually gonna get to see his presentation up on the screen, his slideshow.
Good evening, Council. My name is Bill Parrish. I'm founder, executive director of the Eckstein Cultural Arts Center. Our new home will be 42 Washington Avenue. Our last meeting, I was sort of handcuffed. My PowerPoint presentation didn't show, so I missed the deadline for getting the PowerPoint in, but I thought it was important to the visuals that went along with the presentation. And then on Sunday, September 22nd, we were a part of the Freedom Center's statewide Underground Railroad sequence. So it was a number of stations that were throughout the state who were there, and we were invited to make our presentation and to share our story with people from all over the state to be part of this Underground Railroad network. So I'll move quickly through the PowerPoint presentation, but it's called Freedom Journey, an Underground Railroad walking tour in the historic village of Glendale. Next.
Hang on, I'm working on it. Sorry. Okay, David, my arrow buttons aren't working. They're supposed to.
Then scroll down. You have to take your mouse over there.
Yeah,
And then click it.
hang on, I need my other glasses now. Sorry.
Those are
Different
my
glasses.
teams.
These are my distance glasses.
There we
Okay.
go.
I can see
Okay.
now. Okay.
You have an iPhone with you.
There we go.
There's a
So
spot,
this,
I'll tell you.
here you'll find the Eckstein Cultural Arts Board and a couple volunteers that are a part of this whole project that we've been working on for almost 5 years now. Next. This was part of our presentation at the Underground Railroad Freedom Center on Sunday. That was sponsored by Fifth Third Bank. It was really a great opportunity for us to share the story with people throughout the state and greater Cincinnati. Also, Ohio Freedom Path. Next slide, please. So to give you sort of an idea, we had some history with this, but I really wanted to try to focus in on the last few years. Between June 2023 and June 24, ACAC has provided 21 tours as a test market for the Underground Railroad tours. Last year, in partnership with Woodlawn's Juneteenth celebration and Landmark Church, we provided 6 tours between 1 and 6 p.m. From Woodlawn and from Landmark Church. This year, in partnership with Wyoming, on the 13th of June, when they did their celebration, we partnered with them and was invited, and they provided 2 booths for us to promote the Underground Railroad tours, and a booth for teens that we had to create Underground Railroad themed art. So that was pretty phenomenal. We got a lot of photos of that with teens in that, but I want to share those today. So June 2025, in partnership with Landmark Church, which was Juneteenth Day, we provided tours for the surrounding communities, including Glendale, Woodlawn, Wyoming, Lincoln Heights, Evendale, Sharonville, from noon to 4. We also did a program at the Landmark Church that called Songs on the Road to Freedom. It was a musical program that were songs from the Underground Railroad. Civil War songs. And it also began with a video that we had put together with a testimony from Megan Johnson, who was a four-time great-great-granddaughter of John Van Zant. 3 years ago was her first time on that land that her great-great-great-grandfather was famous for. So her
have
and
about a
her
minute.
families talked about it quite a bit. Next. So these next pictures are just sort of photographs of that, the Underground Railroad, our branding. Next. That's Ralph Carey, one of our board members on the bus, and that's Megan there, who was leading the tours. Next. That one sort of flipped, but it shows a Freedom Journey software and application that we're using. It's an app you can download on your phone, and that's how the tour is going to be, how you'll get to the tour. Next. This is the actual photo of the tour locations. There's 17 of 15 of which we're going to be active on the tour. Next.
Mayor.
Okay.
We have two buses
Is
that,
it all right with council if Bill finishes his PowerPoint?
I just have a
he's 5
couple more
minutes.
slides.
Okay, let's get through the last slides. Thanks.
We have a couple more buses. These are the transportation that we're using for the tours. For those who don't walk the tour, there's going to be transportation up to 40 people who can be a part of the tour. Next. So in June this year, in 2026, in celebration with Wyoming, we're going to couple with them. So we have an actual contract that we're partnering with them this year on their next year, 2026, on their tour. So it's going to involve a lot of things, and really the partnership to us is very important to us and the village of Glendale. So next year as well, on June 19, 2026, celebration, we're going to be partnering with a number of people in surrounding villages. So it's going to be pretty big. It's going to be central at Landmark Church. We also have sponsors who are going to sponsor this. So I wanted to say all this in advance so that for the village to really partner with us so that this can be something that the village can really take part in, can be a part of, and it's not just something going through the village and we're not partnering on it, and just it's an opportunity. So I wanted to bring it to council again so that you could see sort of the seriousness of what we're attempting to do with the tours and the celebration of Juneteenth for next year. So I think that's the last slide. So thank you very much for giving me the extra time to share this, because last time it was difficult to really sort of let you see that here's sort of the vision and where we've gone over the last few years and where we're about to embark on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Okay, just a comment. Mr. Parrish put some time into this, and he went a little bit beyond his 5 minutes. We typically don't do that, but you didn't get to do it last week, and I wanted you to be able to get through your whole presentation this time around. Is there anyone else that wishes to address council?
Address council.
Council. Yes. And would you say your name when you come to the podium, please?
Yes. Hi, I'm Rachel Thomas. I live at 30 West Fountain Avenue. And I spoke with the mayor last week, and I sent an email to the Streets Council. I wasn't able to attend like the previous meeting. I was out of town. So I'll just be a couple minutes. I have some concerns, some safety concerns about Congress Avenue, from like St. Gabe's Church and School down to Century Inn. is about a mile. And in that stretch, there's 2 churches, 2 schools, and the Lyceum. There's a lot of walkers and runners out, like myself. And it's just not a safe street for pedestrians. I do see the police monitoring all the time in front of Glendale Elementary, and I really appreciate that. And I think that is a big help to slow down traffic. And I'd asked David about the crash data, and so today he sent me this afternoon that there have been, and this is just what's been reported, not like all the accidents that have happened, but in just 9 months of this year, there's been 14 accidents in a 1-mile stretch. And we hear them happen. Whether the police come to all of them or not, I don't know, but just the data, 14 accidents in 9 months, like that seems insane to me. And then just the other part of it is the crosswalks. So there is a crosswalk at the Lyceum, and there is a sign that says cars yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk. Thank you if you've ever not run me over, but like 99 times out of 100, if I'm in the crosswalk and it's clear on both sides and a car's coming, like I have to go back to the road because cars just don't stop. The crosswalk down in front of the Century Inn is even worse. I almost got hit twice in like 2 weeks, and so now I've been like driving to Sharon Woods and Summit Park because I don't feel safe. I used to run from my house to like Glenwood Gardens, but like I've had cars just go through the red light as if it doesn't even exist. And once again, like the police can't be everywhere. Of course they can't. And I do see them out working, but like I didn't even tell my husband about the last one because I think he would have had a panic attack. And just the last thing, there isn't a crosswalk from East Fountain to West Fountain. And it's kind of like a downhill. So once again, if I try to cross there, it's nearly impossible to because cars are just going so fast and they don't see you. So I'm not a traffic engineer. I don't know what the solutions are. I know Congress is also a state route, so like there's a lot that goes into it, but whether it's crosswalk beacons or speed humps or trying to get the speed limit reduced or like whatever else people do, like, you know, we have kids, we have pets, we want to be active in our community, but like the driving just is like unacceptable. So that's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Anyone else wishing to address council?
Good evening. My name is Glenn Parrish. I am the owner of the property at 100 Washington Avenue. My property happens to be adjacent to a property owned by the village at 94 Washington Avenue. Because my plans were, when I purchased the property, was to develop the property as well as perhaps develop 94. The property has been overgrown for quite some years, and I went to the village to actually see what was the property line and asked them for a copy of their survey. I was told that there was no property survey and that I would have to get my own. And I didn't do that because I already have photographic confirmation of the agreements between the previous owners of 94 Washington Avenue and 100 Washington Avenue. And so I cleared the area because I could not get into my basement. I asked the village initially, and they did come. They started to remove the vegetation, but then unexpectedly and without notice, they stopped. So therefore, because of my background, I cleared the section which I felt was my property in order to develop it. I, again, asked the village for their survey on that property. They still say that they do not have a survey on the property. And in the future, while they may contend that, they will have to support that under oath as I am moving forward with civil action. And I'm just letting the village know because you will be involved. So I thank you for your attention right now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Parrish. Anyone else wishing to address council?
My name is Kevin Parrish, resident at 176 Washington Avenue. I'm here again today to talk to council. Previously, I brought these photographs of a project that was supposed to have been done by the Instrafom company concerning the Phase 1 sanitary sewer project in 2017. So, statements were made as to the conspiracy of the Village of Glendale and the Instrafom company to as far as their criminal acts in this project. The project wasn't done. As you can see in these photographs, on-site photographs during the time that they were doing this pipe replacement, that this technique is not a pipe replacement technique. And other photographs go along with a series of photographs. Actually, the case in Court of Claims with Parrish versus Village of Glendale arose because I could not get public records, and so we went to court. They have a more extensive portfolio of the photographs that I sent them, which was 52 at the time, showing that not only did they not do the project, but they falsified documents and submitted them to the Ohio EPA in saying that they did. I have photographs that say that 286 feet of pipe could not possibly have been laid in the pipe replacement that was targeted for Cole Avenue. Not only that, when they closed up the street, they had at least over 125 feet worth of pipe left out of the 286 feet that was supposed to be on this project. Now, I brought this to the attention of you guys because you have to address these accusations that I am making. These are some photographs, and these are not all the photographs. I noticed that after I presented last month that you were more concerned of where did I get these photographs instead of these photographs document actual construction site in real time, and that this is not what we signed on for. It amazes me that you had a council summit and you're still unclear about what your responsibilities are after the solicitor has informed you of what your responsibilities as council members are. This did not happen on your watch. This happened in the last administration with Lofty. But some of you were still present in council and well aware of this. My question today is, what are you gonna do? We need an answer from you guys. You can't sit there like a bump on a log and act like you don't hear these criminal accusations. I'm going forward, and if I can't get any relief by bringing this to council to have them address it, going to state level, then we go to federal level to give us national attention of how this could occur. I understand that Instrafoam is a company that does many projects in this village, and I'm quite sure that this is not the first occurrence of misrepresentation and misappropriation of funds that were delegated for doing a project.
You have about a minute.
It concerns me that you guys, a group of guys, are gonna be the face of Glendale that wants a charter. These are criminal acts. And you guys are part of that criminal element. Is this what we want for the village? I'm here because as council members, you took an oath, but you don't represent people like me. You only represent the white part of Glendale. I'm here because I represent people of color because you don't represent me and none like me. And you're okay with that. So as far as your moral obligation, you have thrown that in the trash. But you will have to address this, and I would like a public answer about what you're gonna do about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parrish. Is there anyone else that wishes to address council? Are you sure?
I was here in support of Rachel.
In support of Rachel?
Well, maybe I.
Go ahead, yes, please do.
I'm Kim Wood, and I live at 25 West Fountain.
Yes.
I also own property on Congress, and my grandchildren are in that house.
Okay.
There are multiple accidents. I've called the police. Y'all have gotten calls from me many times, and I agree that the speed is too fast, but a lot of the problem is because of cell phones and distracted driving, and I don't know what the village can do. I don't know if a flashing yellow light might like catch people's attention, but you know, people do go fast, they are driving distracted, and there are a large number of accidents. And one other thing, I would like for someone to point to me in the ordinances regarding trees on the, but I have trees that border, well, my property borders Springfield Pike, Congress, and my property line is actually back from the tree line. There have been trees that have fallen. I contend that they're not my trees, and therefore I don't have responsibility for the clearing of that when the limbs fall and the care of the trees, because they're not my trees. So when Tom was alive, he said, well, there's not a sidewalk, so that means it's your property. So I would like for someone to send me an email to tell me where the ordinance is that says that I'm responsible for the maintenance of those trees and the limbs. A lot of trees, they're old. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ms. Wood. All right, anyone else wishing to address council? Okay. Simple one, just in some cleaning up here before I give the mayor's report. You can send that ordinance reference, and if there is none, you can contact Ms. Wood and discuss that, who's responsible for what. I know I've received the letters that have said your trees limbs are over the sidewalk, and it's a tree that's actually planted between the street and the sidewalk. So I end up having to trim those.
There's no sidewalk.
Okay, okay. Well, I understand, I understand. Prior to that, Mr. Parrish, well, just to get to the points, I don't think anyone here is only representing white people. I think everyone here represents the entire village. I don't believe there's been any criminal acts committed by anyone here on council. Mr. Parrish, you had your time to talk. I realize you're talking to your brother, but you're disrupting the meeting because
I've asked you
it's,
guys, I've addressed this council, to ask who represents the people of color here on several occasions, and no one has raised their
Mr. Parrish,
hands.
this is not a question and answer.
It's not a question, it's
question and
evident
answer
that you do
session.
not represent us, and that's why I come to council every month, because you don't, and none of the 6 have enough courage to say they do.
That is your opinion. That is not
Who
fact.
represents the people of color here? Oh, now you can raise your hands.
We've done it before too,
No,
we
you
just didn't
haven't.
look.
You
He has,
didn't-
he
you
has
didn't
stepped
look.
out and censored you. Well,
Well,
why don't you do something then? Because you haven't.
it's not a
But that's all
question and
good.
answer session.
We
So,
understand that you
Mr.
don't
Parrish,
represent us,
you're
and
now
that's why it was
disrupting
necessary for me
a
to vote
public
myself in as a
meeting.
representative for people of
I
color.
will ask you to
I'm
please
getting ready
leave
to
the
leave
chambers.
because the rest of it is just bullshit.
All right. So, to finish, anyone who wishes can request any public record from the village. If it exists, we'll produce it for you. Those records that Mr. Parrish is referring to regarding work that was done in that area, he had the opportunity to view, and I believe that case went to court. And what was the outcome, Mr. Lumsden, on that?
The village was found to have no violations of public records policy.
We are not required, as council, to make any statements to Mr. Parrish about that particular incident. That is work that was done by the village itself. And if you choose, you may, but Mr. Parrish, if he has more questions about that, needs to address the village through our administration. To stand and accuse this group of criminal acts, to me, is not appropriate, although we do have to give him his time to speak. I don't believe there were any falsified documents. Rachel, I have sent a commentary to the Streets Committee about our meeting and your concern about the possibility of a crosswalk, and we'll be looking into that. Crosswalk may be something that we can actually do on our own. As far as the speed or any speed bumps, that is a state route, and we have to, there are more rules around that, but we'll figure that out as well. We'll look into that. Glen Parish, we do not have a survey. If you'd like to get your own survey, you're certainly entitled to. And then Bill Parrish, nice presentation. I don't have anything else to say about that. Moving on to the mayor's report. Again, this is not a question and answer session, but I am going to suggest,
At the end of your comment.
I'm going to suggest to you, as we have in the past, if you have a question about your property, please follow up with Village Administration David Lumsden. And if you need to know your boundaries, get a survey. The village does not have a survey.
So therefore, if I start using that.
This is not,
I can't say anything.
I'm gonna say it again, this is not a question and answer, all right?
I wasn't questioning you.
I can give you
I'm
some
just making
advice as to
comments.
how you might proceed, but public comment is finished now.
The village needs to do something.
The public
Property is in
comment, the
contention.
public comment is finished now. Please either stop talking or leave the meeting. You are disrupting a public meeting at this point. All right, we're gonna move on. For the normal part of the mayor's report, there were no births reported in the village. There were no deaths reported in the village. Glendale held their street fair on September 13th. It was very well attended. Harry Whiting Brown sponsored and put it on. Despite some drizzle, we saw a lot of people out. It was a nice afternoon. The Glendale Lyceum held a play this past weekend on October 4 called A Trip to the Moon. Well directed by Jan Godby, co-directed by Sharon Kwasinski, and starring many Glendale residents. That was a very fun evening as well. GYS basketball registration is still open, closes today. I understand they've got quite a few kids that are signed up, so that's great. Glendale Elementary received an overall 3.5 star rating out of 5. They've made improvement in certain areas, and they were outstanding in other specific areas. That little report was included in last Friday's email, if you want to look at it closer. The Glendale Legacy Fund received their determination letter from the Internal Revenue Service. They are officially a 501c3 nonprofit now, so any donations or gifts to them are tax deductible. Let's see, what else? There will be a meeting, a town hall style meeting on October 9th, this Thursday, about our upcoming street levy, which will be on the ballot this November. It will be information and question and answer about the proposed levy, and everyone's encouraged to come out and attend that and get the facts about that levy and ask any questions they may have. Finally, there is also a village or a euchre tournament at the Trackside Pub, which will proceeds will benefit the village Christmas. That occurs on October the 19th. And then lastly, Cincinnati Civic Orchestra will have their fall concert on October 6th at the Glendale Lyceum. And that is it for the mayor's report. Sorry it had to be so long. David, do you have the administrative report?
I do. Thank you, Mayor. Circulated a longer form report by email. Go over a couple of the quick highlights. Lake Park playground equipment was demolished following that safety inspection. Our service department took care of it, did it very quickly, did it very cleanly. So we'll take up conversation as we go through the 26 budget process with Parks Committee on what's to come with that. The Cincinnati Gas Light is currently working to replace 5 missing gas lights in the village. They were in certain locations. A list was circulated on our Friday newsletter last week. They're still working, so be mindful if you're driving in those spots. Finally, leaf collection is going to begin on October 27th. Our new leaf truck is ready for hopefully what will be a busy season. And residents may see it out the week before. We're going to be doing some gutter and storm base and catch basin clean out work. So we're still starting residential leaf collection on the 27th, but the truck will be out and about the week before doing collection. So that is the highlights of my report. If there are any questions, that'll conclude it.
Okay. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, would you please call for the committee reports?
Absolutely. The Finance Committee, please.
Finance did not meet last month, but hopefully we'll see everyone this Thursday night at Town Hall, and a lot of finance will be discussed.
Thank you. Fire Committee.
Fire Committee met on September 29. The minutes are on the village website, but briefly, we talked about the infamous new fire truck that is to be delivered before the end of the month. And we heard some firsthand descriptions of the decals on it and what it's like to drive in it, and it's got some cool stuff. Anyway, and the chief can talk about that. We talked about the sale of the engine 245 now that will be taken out of service with the new truck. And it has been listed on the county auction site. So if you're interested in picking up a little fire truck to play with, you can do that. And last, we still have a few, well, more than a few, old bourbon fire hydrants in the village. And we've been waiting until the paving and the replacement of the water mains and stuff to return to the replacement of the old hydrants. That's happening soon, taking place this month, so that's just we're in it. So it's just like a week or so away until they really get kicked into it correct?
I'll circulate a final schedule once I hear back
I
from
was
the
just
contract.
trying to nail you on
I know
that.
you're
Okay.
trying. I know what you're trying to do.
Other than other than that, I will turn it over to Assistant Chief Merriman.
Thank you, Nancy. Busy month for the fire department this past month. A lot of in-house trainings, a lot of mutual aid trainings that we've attended, and some regional classes that our folks had attended last month. And we're going to continue those for the month of October. We'll be meeting with our Midwest Fire Collaborative and doing some firefighter safety, firefighter Mayday drills, so that'll take place in the month of October. Just a note on the truck, I did talk to our rep from Bogopol on Friday, and we are still looking at a few weeks out, and as soon as we have a date when that truck is leaving, the chief and I will receive an email from him, and we'll make sure that we circulate that out to everyone so we know when that truck is headed north. And then a week or so after that date, we should be receiving it. So we'll definitely communicate that ahead of time, but if there's no other questions, that's my report for tonight.
Can I just add one thing that the two of us have forgotten? Under new business, we discussed the annual pancake breakfast.
Yes.
That is scheduled for November 15th, correct?
Yes, ma'am. That's
Okay.
right, November 15th.
That's
yes.
incredible. You need to mark that on your calendar.
Yes.
Anyway,
Okay.
that was, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Laws and claims, please.
Laws Committee did meet September 17th. At that time, we talked about updates from NIC, our enforcement vendor. We talked about potential zoning, code language upgrade potential, because it would be a very big undertaking, but it was part of our discussion at that meeting. I also point out that we had a charter committee of the whole meeting September 11th, and it was an inaugural meeting, I guess. I mean, it was informational, and it was also trying to come up with ways of organizing the issue of charter government. And I will say, I think Mayor Hubbard was here. There was about 10 residents here, and Mayor Hubbard was one of them, and he did suggest, and I think it's a good idea, to have a communication, more communication about what the charter committee the committee of the whole for charter government, what it's about, what's generated it, all those things, because I've gotten some emails myself about it, and so. Happy to work with Nancy on it, or, if you wanna, we could come up with some FAQs or something, about that. And anyone else, of course, on the committee as well, and run it by you, David. So, other than that, we will be, I'm sure, planning another laws meeting, but in November, early November, and also, we'll be discussing when the next charter committee meeting will be.
Okay.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Rec met jointly with the Streets Committee on Tuesday, the 23rd, so my update will be for both of those. I think all the council members were there, but really the only agenda item was to talk more about the resolution that'll be before us again tonight about the shared use trail. So we just kind of looked at, reviewed what trails are in general. We looked at the Glendale Community Survey results and what that said, and talked about, why I have a resolution about this. So that was that. I will be looking to have the Parks Committee meet in the next few weeks when we have some numbers ready to talk about budget, but also because of the playground situation happening kind of quickly, so thinking more about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Police Committee, please.
Police did not meet. Chief Keast is here.
Back in August, we had a vehicle stolen from Brandywine. Through the use of the flock system, we were able to identify it and get it recovered. It has been turned over to the insurance because the insurance has paid out the owner of that vehicle. We had a subject flee from us during a traffic stop, left his vehicle in drive. It subsequently rolled into one of our cruisers, causing minor damage to the back fender. We were able to order the part and fix that in-house without sending it out. There was a fraud from the Proctor Fund for $850. A fraudulent check was cashed It did have the wrong name on the check. It said the Protector Fund. We do have subpoenas out to the banks, and we do have a good idea who the suspect is. And we did have several officers attend some trainings on search and seizure and also on duty to intervene. Later on tonight, you will hear some talk about Bethany School wanting to approach the village and for an SRO for their school. And this past month, we started a traffic unit, which is our officers can sign up for a couple hours of overtime every pay period, and they're strictly out there to enforce the traffic laws due to the complaints that we've gotten from citizens and from council.
That's a good
And
idea.
that is my report.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Public Buildings and Historic Preservation.
Public Buildings and Historic Preservation did not meet.
Thank you. Streets was done with Parks and Rec. Utilities, please.
The Utilities Committee also did not meet, and we will plan to do so early the following week. And I contacted the members of the committee, and we'll have to pick a time and date for sure.
Okay, and then the treasurer's report?
So I submitted the report for September to everyone present. Looks like based on the monies that we have in our accounts, that we'll probably hit about $360,000 total investment by the end of the year, which will probably be a record. For perspective, the monies that we've invested, not just the VPGI, will probably come in with about $2 million total additional revenue for the village over the last 8 years. So that's a good way of being able to fund a lot of things that the village needs.
Yeah.
One thing for perspective I wanted to share with council and other members is we're all required to pay our property taxes like June 20th. That's the due date. And for perspective, the state just sent us the last bit of money that we get back on the 3rd of October. That's the property rollback money. And I find it really interesting how long they keep this money that we are required to provide by June 20th. And the same thing could be said for Hamilton County, is if David did not make cash advance requests, basically, or property tax requests, we would be waiting until they just provided the last payment to us September 3rd. So again, the time frame is just huge. So government helping local municipalities. Of course, somebody needs to go collect the money when they're not paying, but I find it very interesting how they hold on to our money for so long. So anyways, that's the report. If you have any questions, let me know.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. That's good perspective, especially the interest generated over that 8-year period. That really speaks volumes as to what we've been able to do for our village just through proper treasury management.
Yeah, the other thing too is, we'll, as talked about the fire truck to come in, we'll have about that amount of money, plus we have to pay for the streets, so that'll be about $1 million going out to pay the bills. So that's the equivalent of losing about
4 years worth of work.
Well, no. Just for this year, to the remainder of the year, about $6,000. Just
Well understood, yes.
of money that we won't have next year. So
Very true. Okay, is there a report from the clerk, fiscal officer?
Yes, the financial report went out.
Yes.
All 40-some pages of it. So as you review it, if you have any questions, you can contact myself, David, or Denise, because I know it is fascinating reading for everybody here. And Denise and I will be attending state-required fiscal officer training on the 16th. So
Okay.
if you're interested in that, I'm sure I would be happy to tag out. So, just kidding. I'm not allowed.
Okay, thank you, Becky.
You're welcome.
So moving on, next item on our agenda is the old business. So ordinance 2025-43, this is our second read. An ordinance amending the Village of Glendale Code of Ordinances, chapters 94 and 154 regarding the harboring of chickens and declaring an emergency. We had our first read of this in the September meeting. This is our second read. Third read will be November. Are there any questions or comments about this? We beat it up pretty well in committee and planning and here a couple of meetings. And had very good input from our residents, I would add. Okay. Next ordinance is ordinance 2025-44. An ordinance adopting the Village of Glendale Historic Design Guidelines as amended in accordance with the Glendale Planning and Historic Preservation Commission Resolution 2025-02, recommending amendment to the Village of Glendale Historic Design Guidelines and declaring an emergency. This is also a second read, and we went through this a little bit last week. Are there any further comments, questions about this ordinance? Okay, the third read will be next month. The next item is Resolution 2025-25, a resolution in support of the Mill Creek Triangle Trail feasibility study. We had a first read of this with some questions. We bounced it back to the committee. We're now back here again with our second read. And I believe Mr. Lumsden highlighted in yellow is some word changes. And maybe you'll take us through what was discussed here and then subsequent at the meeting. And Amy, if you want to chime in too, that's great. We'll start with David.
Thank you. So there was some discussion at the joint committee meeting about the language in the original ordinance, calling attention to the vision that is listed in the feasibility study document, and some, we'll say, general concern or question about what that language included relative to the village's commitment with the study. Following that discussion, it was my understanding that we agreed that the word efforts was a better replacement for the word vision. Still encompasses the work of the study, but is more focused on the actual outcome, the product that would come should the village decide to pursue it. This resolution is like the original, like the first copy, does not commit the village to perform the work. It instead, it extends our support of their work generally, and says that if we were to take advantage of it and would be involved, that we would be able to utilize this study as a piece of leverage essentially for grant funding. Regarding this word change, I did want to ask the solicitor, is an amendment vote required, or
I
take it back to first read?
I would say that the amendment, roll call vote, and then just leave it at the second read.
Okay.
The
Leave it at
amendment.
second read, okay. So any further comments from anyone regarding how we got to this point? What about discussion of this resolution in its current form versus the previous form? Is there another word everybody likes? Is one of these words acceptable or none?
I think it's good.
Yeah,
Vi-
efforts, yeah.
Efforts is good.
Better than vision, I think.
Okay. So is there a motion to change the word to efforts?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. And should we do a roll call vote for that? So, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll for that change?
To approve the change of the verbiage change for 2025-25, Ms. Masenko,
Aye.
Mr. Basemith,
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler,
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge,
Aye.
Ms. Fleury,
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so that particular change is now in effect. This is our second read, and we'll have a third read in November. Okay,
Sounds good.
all right. The next is new business, so first ordinance under new business. Ordinance 2025-45, an ordinance authorizing amendment of the 2025 appropriations of the general fund and declaring an emergency. David, would you please give us just the highlights of each of these changes?
Certainly, Mayor, thank you. To save paper and also save ordinance numbers, consolidated these 4 adjustments to our general fund appropriations. The first is an appropriation that's necessary to increase. We have to increase to account for the cost of repairs for police cruiser number 4, which was involved in a traffic accident in August. Those repairs are being funded by the village's insurance, but they are an expense that the village has to bear, so we have to put it on our books, but we will be reimbursed for those costs. Additionally, we have additional appropriation increase in here for legal expenses for 2025. The third is we are going to be getting the new fire pumper here in the next couple of weeks. With the village's new property insurance, the process for that is that they will bill us for the retroactive premium for the new truck from now until our renewal in the summer of 2026. But then when we sell the old truck, they will reimburse us for the premium at that point. So essentially the effect will be neutral, but we do need to go through those steps to maintain both trucks on our insurance as we own them. So we're estimating about a $2,000 increase at that point, but as I said, we'll be getting a refund of most, if not all of that back to cover the retroactive refund. And then finally, we had an air conditioning unit that went out of commission at the police station, and then we have an estimate from Air Plus for the replacement of that unit.
How old is the unit?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I should have, but
That tells us something.
that
Let's
put it old enough.
It does not take the new.
Yes,
premium.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
That's at least 15 years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't some
No.
recent one that it just
No.
crept up.
Any questions about or comments about any of these 4 items? No.
Is the police cruiser, is that the one that Chief mentioned earlier? That was-
No, this is a different one. We had another cruiser involved in a crash with a Lachlan cruiser. They were looking for a violent suspect and were on a perimeter, and they both somehow looked opposite directions and pulled out and hit each other.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. You're disrupting the public meeting.
It was a clarification
Okay.
question, so.
So, Madam Clerk, would you please,
We need
wait,
motions.
we need a motion for the ordinance, please.
We need to also third read.
Yeah. So is there a motion for the ordinance?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
And is there a motion to dispense with 3 reads?
So moved. Second.
Okay, now we can call the roll.
For ordinance 2025-45, to dispense with 3 reads, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Baseman.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
For ordinance 2025-45, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Baseman.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, that ordinance passes. Next is ordinance 2025-46, an ordinance authorizing amendment of the 2025 appropriations of the water fund and declaring an emergency. David, can you give us the highlights here?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, typically we purchase chemical lime for water softening from the city of Dayton. However, they've notified us that they are unable to secure enough for them to provide it to us as well as meet their own needs. So they will be unable to sell it to us for 1 or 2 shipments this year. We do anticipate it'll be back online at the end of the year for our final order, but the price is incredibly competitive compared to the market. It's about twice as much with the vendor that we're forced to use when the city of Dayton is unavailable. I think this is the first time in 4 or 5 years that I've seen same date and unable to provide it. So I don't think that this is a frequent occurrence, but it is an expense that needs to be covered for the operation of the water plant.
All right, any questions about this ordinance? Okay, is there a motion for the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
And a motion to dispense with 3 reads?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
For ordinance 2025-46, to dispense with the 3 reads, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Baseman.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
For ordinance 2025-46, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Baseman.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, that ordinance passes. Next is ordinance 2025-47, an ordinance authorizing assessment on certain properties in the village of Glendale for removal of grass and noxious weeds and declaring an emergency. So this one, David, we cut the weeds ourselves, and now we're assessing that cost.
That's correct.
Okay, are there any questions about this ordinance? Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Okay. So, is there a motion for the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
And a motion to dispense with 3 readings?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
For ordinance 2025-47, to dispense with the 3 reads, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Baseman.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
For ordinance 2025-47, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Baseman.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
Thank you.
The ordinance passes. Next is resolution 2025-26, a resolution of the Village of Glendale, Ohio, supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial. That's a doozy. 250 years. So this one, you recall, Resident Jeff Herbert came and presented for this. This resolution is in recognition that we will participate. It does not obligate us financially in any way. It also does not obligate us to label any of our current celebrations, such as Memorial Day, as a America 250 event, but we're encouraged to promote America 250 during our events. But we're not obligated in any way. We're participating in this voluntarily. The hope is that all 88 counties in Ohio will participate in this. Anything else to add, David?
No.
No? Okay.
Can I just pop in one thing?
Absolutely.
Glendale Heritage Preservation is working with Jeff,
All right.
who is a member of that commission.
Good.
And they're planning a pretty good-looking exhibit, opening very soon in January. So,
All right.
and so he's pulling all of that together, and at least we'll have an exhibit.
That's great.
Okay.
And on that point, I was going to ask, of course, we haven't passed this yet, but while we're discussing, should someone from council be engaged in this in some way, like an out front person with this? And if
Whoever
so-
would be, I would imagine, yes, I would suspect that the appropriate person would be the council
The-
person who,
Liaison with GHP.
right.
And is that you currently?
However,
I nominate Nancy Masenko.
Wow.
however,
Oh, you made that too easy.
That was hard.
No.
but there's a very big however there.
There's a big however. Who will be that next person?
That's
Yes.
the question.
But you'll happily hand that baton when the time comes.
Well, for the next couple of months, I could
Next
do
couple
that,
of
yes,
months?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
In my
All right.
role as the,
And I recall you were instrumental in helping Jeff to be able to get connected with the village so that this could actually be presented.
and I believe that Jeff is going to be a new trustee,
Good.
where he's up for election.
He is up for election.
Yeah.
He's up for election.
He is in
Okay, well,
November.
that's wonderful. All right. So, all that being said, is there a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
And a second? And do I need a voice vote on this?
The three, wait, you gotta wait the three reads.
Oh, we're waiving 3 reads. Oh, okay. I don't see the emergency language, but
No emergency,
just waiving the 3
waiving the
reads.
3 reads.
Got it, okay. And is there a motion to dispense with 3 reads?
So moved. Second.
Okay, and so in that case, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll for the resolution and the emergency language?
Yes, for Resolution 2025-26, to dispense with the 3 reads, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Basemuth.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
For Resolution 2025-26, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Basemuth.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so the resolution passes. Next is Resolution 2024-27, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission of Hamilton County and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. David, I will ask you to please enlighten us on this one.
Certainly. This is a standard issue October resolution. It is a requirement that we certify to the county auditor, as you can see in Exhibit A, that under Schedule B, current expense levies, we have 3 4-year levies, 8.5, 10, and 2.5, certifying that those are, in fact, our levies and that these are the amounts that they'll generate. Also worth noting, under Road and Bridge, they do show the proposed 4.5 mil levy generating about $596,000 a year. That is typically it's 96 or 97% of the total millage or total revenue estimated. The rest is distributed as people actually pay their taxes in full on time. Simply certifying that these are in fact our levies and that we are going to continue to collect them.
Okay, any questions about this resolution? All right, so is there a motion for the resolution itself?
So moved.
Second.
And a motion to dispense with 3 reads?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
For Resolution 2025-27, to dispense with the 3 reads, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Basemuth.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
For Resolution 2025-27, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Basemuth.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and then finally, Resolution 2025-28. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to issue a letter of intent and negotiate a memorandum between the Sisters of the Transfiguration and the village for the purposes of providing school resource officer to Bethany School and to negotiate corresponding employment contracts with additional police personnel as necessary. So, I'll give just a very briefest summary, and then David and the chief will fill in the blanks as we have questions. Bethany School is desirous of having an SRO officer on their campus 8 hours per day, 5 days a week. They're offering to pay that officer's salary and everything it takes to equip that officer, and they're also asking us if we would provide a police cruiser that they will also pay for. Their concern is some of the recent school violence that we've seen, and they feel that having an officer present all the time on the campus will help deter any person who is intent on doing violence in a school setting. It's the type of thing where it's a shame that our society now is at this level in terms of what we think we need to keep ourselves safe. I think it shows a lot of foresight on the part of the sisters, really, and I think it showed a lot of foresight on the part of our police department and our chief and lieutenant to listen to what the school was requesting. Initially, what they wanted we couldn't do, but we figured out a way to potentially get it done. And I think if you can afford to do it, and they can, I think it's a smart move. I really believe in this case, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I'd much rather, if I could afford it, I'd much rather spend some money to get a very strong deterrent than have an incident where somebody could come onto school grounds with a firearm and do violence. So, I'll let you two gentlemen fill in the blanks, but it appears right now that, with help from our solicitor, we were able to proceed with this. There would be, this is a letter of intent, which will allow us to develop a memorandum of understanding, which is going to cost some money. There'll be some legal expense associated with that. And once we have that memorandum of understanding completed, we'll bring that to the November council meeting and we'll formally vote on that. There will likely be an employment contract. I believe, I'm getting into a lot of detail, I said I'll let you guys handle. But I believe the sisters are looking for a 3-year commitment. And we would then be able to comply with that. And at that point, then we would need an employment contract that would provide for an individual to give 3 years to our police department to serve in this role. Otherwise, we would just have to, if they couldn't fulfill it for 3 years, we'd have to go out and find a different person to take on the role. But we would want that person to at least know that they were in for a 3-year time period minimum. That's quite a bit. Anything that you gentlemen can add, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Most SROs now are retired former law enforcement officers. We do have one very good candidate that we have recommended to the school. They've met with him. He currently is an SRO for Monroe City Schools. And myself and the lieutenant have known him for numerous years. And we reached out to him, and he got us started, because when the school came to us, we were, well, how are we going to do this? And so we got a hold of him. He gave us how he works with Monroe. He's an employee of Monroe Schools and not of any police department, but he does carry a Monroe radio. This is, the school would cover his salary, his insurance, all his uniforms, cover the cost of the new cruiser and the maintenance of the new cruiser, and he would still be our employee. And then they've agreed to do a 3-year contract, and then at the end of 3 years, we can re-up that contract if they want to. And that's where we stand right now. We're just waiting on the blessing here to get it going more.
Question. So, just clears for me, this is an addition to the staff, not a staff reassignment, right?
This is an addition to the staff.
An additional person.
Paid for by the Sisters of Transfiguration.
Okay, not a reassignment from the current.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
thanks.
I have a quick question. This isn't in reaction to anything that's, a specific threat or a specific risk. This is just more, looking at the headlines.
Right. That's exactly what it is. There was not a specific threat.
The current head of school came from a big city, and then she came from San Antonio, and then seeing the recent school shooting while the children were at Mass really got her pushing for this and talking with the sisters and getting it started up.
Chief, so the flip side, if after 3 years Bethany wants to stop the program, Glendale wouldn't be on the hook to
Correct.
fulfill anymore.
That's why we're developing an employment contract that will mirror what our agreement is with Bethany School.
Okay, and then what about our existing SRO?
We do not have an SRO.
I thought we had one still did some hours.
No, all of our officers stop into the schools
Okay.
when they're working during the days, but we don't have a dedicated SRO to any school.
Question, the cost of preparing all the legal documents and all that stuff,
Be
is that
borne
gonna
by
get
Bethany.
reimbursed? Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Everything-
recall them in the contract.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything it will take, any trainings, any equipment. And Kathy's been very helpful so far in making sure we use the correct language, so there's no ambiguity as to who's paying for what. It'll be laid out very clearly. The only thing we haven't mentioned, if there were an emergency within the village where it's all hands-on, he is our employee, If it was necessary to pull him from there, we would. I think in most circumstances, when there is that type of an emergency somewhere, you probably are going to take your officers and move them to the different quadrants of the village. So it probably would help speed things up because he'd already be in that southeastern quadrant in that area. Okay, any other questions about this? And I'm sure you've all read all the material related to it, so.
I just had a question about sort of the parameters or boundaries of the SRO in terms of do they sort of spill out onto the roadway during pickup and drop-off hours? Is there any
Yes, they're in the
interaction
parking
with the
lot.
traffic?
Yeah, they'll be in the parking lot during drop-off and pickup. They're not on patrol like on Albion and Oak or anything like that, writing tickets or anything. They're there for the campus.
Probably on foot a lot.
Right.
It's an interesting concept.
Sounds like a good proposal. I don't know what it, the money, but it's
Yeah.
something else.
Okay, so, any other questions? Is there a motion for the resolution?
So move.
Second.
A motion to dispense with 3 reads?
Move.
Second?
All right. So Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
For Resolution 2025-28, to dispense with the 3 reads, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Basemuth.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
For Resolution 2025-28, Ms. Masenko.
Aye.
Mr. Basemuth.
Aye.
Mr. Kreidler.
Aye.
Ms. Baldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Fleury.
Aye.
Ms. Rochelle.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that resolution passes as well. Finally, we received August 25 financial report. I wish we had September, but we're working on that, I'm sure. We'll get that out as soon as it's ready. Is there acknowledgement of receipt of those financial reports?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Any other business? Yes.
I have a question.
There's a couple
Mr.
there.
Mayor, I did forget my non-finance report. I
Oh.
did forget to say that I'll email everyone. We're looking at the week of November 10th and or the 17th. So believe it or not, the finance meetings are coming up again.
For budgeting,
for
of
the
course.
budgeting.
Yes,
So
Okay.
I'll email everyone separately.
very good.
Thank you.
Jeff, you had a comment?
I had a question regarding the town hall hearing. We had one in spring, and we thought it was worthwhile doing again. At that time, it extended for several hours,
Uh-huh.
even including lunch, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
You mean the council retreat?
Retreat.
Is that a council retreat?
Yeah.
Council retreat, yes.
Okay, my error, because I was referring to that as town hall. So, in that case, if that is a different meeting than the town hall,
Yes.
we had talked about having a council retreat in the fall, and I don't think that's currently on the agenda, but it's something I would think we should do,
Okay.
especially before the election.
Why
Oh.
don't we, that would be
That's
possible,
Timeframes.
but it might be tough.
I think it's ideal, but I also think, given we will have a changeover on council of 2 positions, it may be good to wait until after January.
Until the new people are there.
I would think that.
You can still come.
Why don't I via email circulate for interest? And if there are dates that actually work, my concern is that we're right now working towards a town hall meeting. And then there'll be our council meeting right before the election, then there's the election. Then it's time to write the budgets. And perhaps a lot can, maybe we can dedicate some time in those meetings, in the budget meetings for some going forward thoughts.
Well, that's fine. I feel that it would give an opportunity for the pending council members to participate in listening to hearing what residents might have to say before the election and or before the end of the year, and the problems or issues that we need to address.
Okay, okay. Well, I'll circulate for interest, just via email. I don't know how practical it is to try to do it, and, Amy said you could always come. Maybe we have some sort of a handover meeting right in the early part of January after the holidays are over. Maybe not. Some people say, please let me go.
Well, I think it's good to keep in mind as when we did the council retreat, it was open to the public because of open meetings laws, but the public was not really invited to participate or comment because it was seen as more of a working meeting between
Right.
council members and a time to be able to speak.
Right.
So from that point of view, it may not be the time to hear from the public if that's
Yeah.
I
what we're
didn't know that
thinking.
the public was going to speak. I'm talking about listening and having communication between council
Okay.
members.
Okay.
But,
All right.
there you go.
So noted.
We'll wait a year.
Yes. Is there anything else? Any other thoughts, comments? All right, so we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not too bad.